Hi, I'm Deborah Dahab, expat coach and intercultural psychologist, and I'm here to help you live your best life abroad. So, today we're going to talk about expat grief. And this is something that people usually don't think about, don't acknowledge, but is really important for a successful cultural adjustment. So, first, we're going to talk about what expat grief is. Then, I'm going to give you some ideas on how to deal with it the best way possible. So, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the little bell to get to know when I post new videos. And feel free to comment and to suggest new topics. So let's get to it. Expat grief. When we talk about grief, we usually think about certain types of losses, like someone passing away, or losing a job, or losing a relationship. We sometimes don't associate the grief process to something that we chose to happen. Many expats actually have chosen to move to another country. And since they chose this change, they many times don't feel like they're allowed to feel the grief. They're not allowed to feel the sadness associated to moving. So, what is this about? What losses are we talking about? We're talking about losses big and small. We're talking about, for example, losing being able to be with your family on a daily basis. We're talking about the loss of friends on a daily basis, even the fear of losing a friend permanently because we're not there on a daily basis, the fear of not being there when a loved one perhaps needs you. So these are losses that are not, let's say, obvious, but nevertheless, they're present in our life. Now, these are losses that are considered maybe big losses, losses related to relationships and family members. There are, however, other losses that are less obvious but are very important. These losses have to do with the little and sometimes simple things that we enjoy in our original country, in our host country, in our previous country. And many times we don't even realize we miss them until they're gone. So, what do I mean by that? For example, I used to have favorite places to go to when I lived in certain countries, like coffee shops or restaurants. And they were places that, you kind of already knew the menu, you knew what to order, or many coffee shops that the person that worked there already knew you. And even though you didn't have like a relationship with them, they knew how you liked your coffee. They would, engage in some small talk with you. How was your day? Whatever. I haven't seen you for a while or whatever. And those little things make up your routine, make up a little bit of the sense of who you are in that environment, right? Some other things are, for example, I used to have a go-to place for walking. So I really like to walk when I want to solve problems, and I had a park I liked to go to. And of course, I can walk anywhere, right? But having that place and that routine was something that I miss. Was something that maybe I didn't even realize I missed it that much until it wasn't there anymore. So the grieving process can be with big things, obvious things, but it can also be with supposedly small things that when we put them together, they become really meaningful. I hope that makes sense to you. And what I would suggest to you is to think about what could be these things that you miss and that are a loss. And many times we take them for granted when we have them. So I'm going to give you an example of a client of mine. And he is from the US, in the region of around New England, where the seasons are very clear. The change in seasons are very clear. So, when it's summer, it's really hot. Then it gets colder in the fall, then very cold in the winter, and then towards spring it starts to get warmer, and then it gets hot again. Now, this client went to live in Brazil, in a place specifically in Brazil, in a city where the climate is pretty much the same throughout the year. So there's no really difference in temperature. The sunrise is more or less at the same time. The sunset is more or less at the same time. There's no change in season, no visible change in season. There might be a little bit more rain, but the temperature's pretty much the same. And one thing that he realized was that he really missed that sense of change and renewal that the changes in season brought to him. So when it was summer, he really enjoyed the feeling of getting, colder and colder and chillier, and feeling like the crisp air, and the change in the colors in the leaves. And then it was winter, and then you had all the rituals related to winter, and then again spring, and renewal and flowers, and it got warmer and so forth. He missed that. He in the end realized, and he was happy with many other things of his cultural transition, but he realized, he found that the same temperature all at the same time, even though it was warm and nice and you could go to the beach, it was boring for him. Now, did he move because of that? No, he didn't. But it was important for him to realize that he took the changes in the seasons for granted. Why? Because it made him look deeper inside and think about, what other things am I now taking for granted? What other things, when I leave the city, if I leave the city, am I going to miss? And knowing that and acknowledging that is really important, because you are going to have losses if you're an expat. You're going to say goodbye. That comes with the territory. It comes with moving. And there are good things about it and bad things about it. And the good things today might be bad tomorrow, and the bad things today might be good tomorrow. We are dynamic people, right? However, it's really important to acknowledge it, and even more important to name it, to say, I am grieving for this loss. It may not be a huge deal that I can't get, that cappuccino that I'm used to, right? I can live without a cappuccino. However, it stings a little bit, like, oh, I wish I had that cappuccino with the cinnamon on top, and in that place that I really like, that had the great artwork and the great vibe. It's not just the cappuccino, right? It's everything else. It's your memory around it, and it's okay to feel sad. And it's okay. You know why? Because when you acknowledge it and when you name it, you can make the most of what you're living now and take advantage of all of the good things that you're living now in your new place. So I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe to the channel. I am looking forward to reading your comments, and suggest new topics if you want. I'd love to hear your comments. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.